guys, welcome back to Life as Wendy. For my new subscribers, my name is Wendy, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe down below. Turn on your post notifications on so you can be updated with a new video. And yeah, let's get to the video. So as you can see by the title, it's just what I'm gonna talk about. My worst toxic, mentally abusive relationship, and the worst one I've had was when I was about 16-17 years old. I'm not gonna say any names because all this is kind of personal and I've never spoken to anybody about this, but so I'm gonna say fake names for the people that I have to, So when I was about 16 or 17, I dated a boy named Bob. We're gonna call him Bob. And Bob was a very, how do I say this? There's a word. He was an F-boy, and I didn't like Bob when I met him. I despised Bob. I hated him with a passion. Well, not hated because that's a strong word to use, but I really disliked Bob because he was such an F-boy, and I used to see it a lot from him. So I never paid any mind to Bob until a few days after school started. Bob went up to me and tried talking to me, and I didn't pay any mind to him, and he asked why I didn't like him, and I didn't answer, and that's just what happened. A few days passed by, and a girl I was talking to, I tell her that Bob wanted to talk to me, and at first I thought she was just telling me what she was telling me because she was jealous or something. When I told her that Bob wanted to talk to me, she said that Bob was still hooked on his ex and that he just wanted a bunch of other girls and that he was never serious with them. So me being the person I am, I wanted to know for myself instead of just hearing it from somebody. And Bob then proceeded to add me on a social media page, and he messaged me and say, "Hey cutie," and I was like, I don't like you, Bob, in my mind, but in the message I said hey with a question mark, because again, I did not like Bob at all. I despised Bob at this point. And he said, "What's your number? I want to talk to you." So I gave Bob my number and we talked. At first, when I said I didn't like Bob, but then a month passed by of us texting and talking in person, and I still didn't like Bob. I didn't really get to know so much of him. He was always asking me about me. Every time I asked him about him, it was just like plain and simple answers. So like I really didn't know Bob. So again, I didn't like Bob. A month passes by, we're in September, and Bob asks me out in front of his friends. And at this point, I didn't know what to do. So I just told Bob, yes, I will date you. And I said yes because I felt bad saying no. So I gave Bob a chance so that he wouldn't feel weird me telling him no in front of his friends. So I said yes, and we were started dating. A few months passed by, like 3 months passed by, and we're in December, and I didn't think anything of when we were going out after these 3 months. Like nothing bad ever happened. He was very sweet. He was such a polite person. And then 3 months passed by. And then everything's fine still. Up until February. We get to February and everyone knows that everybody gets excited for Valentine's Day because they get to go on romantic dates with their boyfriends and they get to spend it with their boyfriends. And the day before Valentine's Day, Bob talked to me and said, we'll go out to eat and, do something special. So the day of Valentine's Day, I get ready and I text Bob that I'm ready at the time that he told me that I should be ready. I text him and I let him know. And this is one of the flags I should have seen, but I kind of just brushed it off like it was nothing. Bob tells me he can't go with me anywhere because he has to do something important. And I don't say anything. I'm just like, okay, maybe it's family wise, that's more important. One of his friends told me that it's not with a friend. It's not with a family member. It is with a friend, which I really don't think it was a friend. He says that it was a girl that was with him. And so I asked Bob, I'm like, are you really not with me today on this day because you're with someone else right now? And he tells me, and he laughs about it when I call him, and he's like, well, yes, I have a friend that's a girl and her boyfriend just broke up with her and I want to be there for her today because she asked me to. And I kind of was like, I'm your girlfriend. What do you mean you have to be there for her? And I just brushed it off like it was nothing. But I should have known that it was something else than that. I didn't say anything, and he said that I was being dramatic and that I was being insecure and that I was being just crazy about it, that I needed to stop. So I was like, okay. My naive mind was like, okay, yeah, I'm just overreacting, like, who doesn't overreact about these things? I brushed it off, and then the next day we get to school and he puts my gift in my locker and he writes that he's really sorry and that he didn't mean to do what he did to me. So I was like, okay, I forgive him, At this point, I actually did start having strong feelings for Bob. And we were telling each other that we love each other. Then this is where things start to get juicy. Bob tells me that he wants to borrow my phone, and we're in April at this point. We're in April, and Bob tells me, hey, can I borrow your phone? My phone doesn't work. I never had a problem with Bob using my phone because I wasn't hiding anything ever. Like, I was a loyal girlfriend and I never had done anything like that before to anybody. So I let him see my phone and he said that he was just gonna use it for a little bit. So we were with some friends of ours and he gets up very angry and he tells me, look. And he said in a text message that he wrote to me to see, he said that I was a lion, and then yeah, and that he knew that I was a hoe, a slut, a bee, a whore, and that I thought I was the prettiest thing and I was really ugly, and that I was never gonna find anybody better than him. And I was confused on what was going on. So I was like, what's the matter with you? I didn't do anything to you. And he just said, look at these messages. And I already knew what messages he was talking about. And my ex-boyfriend that I had when I was in middle school, that was nothing, kept messaging me, kept bothering me. I never used to reply because, you know, what's the point of replying? And I never deleted the messages because I wasn't hiding anything, and I never hid anything from him. So I never had a problem for me to like delete them or anything. There was nothing to delete because I never said anything. So he showed me the messages and he's really mad, and he says that I'm all these horrible things, and he walks away. And I get close to him and he pushes me and tells him to never touch him and to stay away. And he takes my phone at this point. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, I didn't do anything. Why are you being this person that I've never seen before? He walks away. He goes to my homeroom to get the sweater that he gave me, and before he walks away, he throws it back and tells me that I don't deserve crap because I'm a lying whore, and that I deserve to be told all these things. Yet I didn't do anything. So when he was telling me these things, it was very hurtful, and like, I've never had anybody do this to me. So I go follow him, and there's a locker that has a gap between it to where there's a wall, and I pull him from his hand to tell him to give me my phone, and he pushes me against this gap of the wall and grabs me from my neck and tells me to never touch him, to back off of him, and to never speak to him again. And I was in so like shock. I didn't know whether to cry or be mad, or I don't know. Well, at that point I was just like, can I have my phone back? And I was bawling my eyes out, and I said, can I have my phone back? And he said yes. But he walked away, and I followed him. And I said, I thought you were giving me my phone back. He said, I am. Come and get it. He goes into the cafeteria, and he puts my phone in the microwave, and it breaks. And at that point, I should have just walked away and broke up with him, and should have been it for us. But I didn't. I grabbed my phone and I started crying, and I walked away. By the end of the day, he pulled me to the side and said that he was sorry, and that he didn't mean to get all rowdy and mad about what happened, and that he was very sorry for that. And my naive mind was like, it's fine. I'm sorry I got you mad. I said that. And I didn't do anything. So I was like, okay, this is fine. I told myself that this is fine, we're gonna get through this and it's no big deal. A few months pass, Bob moves over the summer, and a few months pass by. We make a year, we don't see each other, and things just kind of slightly changed after a while. We didn't talk as much, we started texting less, and we just weren't talking to each other as much as when we were here. Well, when he was here. We just kind of started shifting, and I was like, okay, I guess it's just a phase because he moved, and we'll get right back to how things were. Then February comes, my birthday comes in February, and he comes down to Louisiana, and he gets me a gift, and we go out to the movies and go out after. And I take pictures with him because I like to upload on my social media the things and pictures I have with him. So I didn't think anything of it, that he never used to take pictures with me or upload pictures with me. I thought he was just really a private person, so I really never thought of anything of it. And this is where things get very bad for us, and this is where another flag came up, and I didn't even do anything about this. I just let it be. So a few days before Bob left back to where he lived, we were supposed to go to the movies, and I got ready, and my dad took me because this is the time where I was younger. So my dad took me, and my dad didn't want to leave me outside so he waited with me for him, and he was just gonna drop me off until he got there. But he waited, and we were waiting for like about an hour and 30 minutes, and Bob never showed up. And I called him, and I asked him, I thought you were coming, and he kept telling me, I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming. 2 hours passed, and still no Bob. Bob didn't show up. Bob wasn't gonna show up. And when I called him, he laughed and thought it was funny. At this point, I should have said, I'm never doing this again. I'm over it. But instead, I bawled my eyes out, and I just told him that I was going to sleep and that I didn't want to talk to him. And that was one of the worst things anybody's ever done to me, besides what he did to me months before that. And I was just like, what did I get myself into? But being the naive girl I was, I forgave him when he said he was sorry again. And he, the next day, called me mad, saying why I told my parents to call his parents, and now they were mad at him for not going and promising me that he was going. I did not tell my parents, and I did not know that my parents were going to be there. And he was mad because of that. I did not know that, and I said that I was sorry, and that, that wasn't gonna happen again. Me. Me saying this? Like, come on. I didn't do anything. And I'm over here apologizing like I did something. So I'm like, okay, no big deal. I'm like, okay, whatever. Nothing. That happened. I didn't do nothing. I let this relationship go on. And about the day before Easter, we had this conversation about how he was promising me that we were gonna get married, have kids, live together, and just be this happy relationship and family that he was promising me, you know? And I'm like, yeah, this is gonna happen. I was in love with him at this point. And he's like, you know, talking to me. And then we get into this argument about how he doesn't trust me, but he doesn't trust me, and that I'm very insecure about myself, that I'm always accusing him of things. But again, haven't accused him. I've caught him in things, and yet I'm in the wrong. So at this point, I was just like, I'm done fighting. I'm done arguing. I don't want to do this. I try and break up with him, and he doesn't let me. Again. And I just hang up, and I'm like, whatever. I don't want to do this. Not tonight. The next morning, during Easter Day, I'm going to a family reunion, and my brother is driving, and I'm in the car with him, and Bob calls me. He says that we need to talk, it's important, and so I'm talking to him. And I tell him that what's really important right now. And he said that he was sorry that he was doing this, but he couldn't do this anymore, and that he was breaking up with me. And I was like, but wait, a day before you're telling me that you're gonna marry me, and now you're telling me that you're breaking up with me. And I was so hurt, and I wanted to cry, but I didn't want to let my brother know the reason I was crying. And I didn't say anything. I held it in until I got home. And I didn't talk to Bob that whole day, ignored him. And the next day, Bob pops up on my social media app. And surprise, surprise, now I know why Bob left me. Because Bob had a whole new girlfriend while he was with me where he lived. So Bob was cheating on me with a girl, and he posted her, something he never did when I was with him. And now I know why. And it was so hurtful to know that Bob did so many hurtful, mentally abusive, physically abusive things to me. And for what? So he could just break up with me. I was so hurt that I said that I didn't want to do nothing with a boy ever again, no relationship, not even talk to any boy, because he hurt me so bad that it was like my heart was out. Like I was just in shock of what I was looking at and what I lived through for this boy. And then the tables turned. A few months passed by, and Bob noticed that I was talking to another boy, and he decides to message me and say that he missed me and that I look beautiful and that I matured and that he wanted to see me, and I just didn't answer. Now Bob wanted me again, and I was mature enough to be like, no, not this time, not ever again. I'm done with that. And that was one of the most toughest decisions I've ever made in my life, to be like no to something that I knew that I was not going to be happy in. And like, this is the craziest thing I've ever been in. Like, I've never opened up about it. I've never said anything to anybody about this except my husband, which I let him know at the beginning of my relationship with him when we were dating, that if I was gonna trust him, he needed to know that I was fully trusting him and that I didn't want the same thing happening, because I've already been through a lot with him, with Bob. So that's what happened with Bob. And between those things, he was cheating me back and forth, cheating on me with other girls, and I still never said anything, never did anything. So Bob was being an F-boy while he was with me, and he was still living here at that time too. And I just let it be. I let him call me names. I let him call me ugly. I let him call me whore, a hoe, a slut, a bitch word. Like, I let him call me all types of stuff. I let him do all types of stuff to me. I let him mentally and physically abuse me. For what? For something that wasn't gonna last forever. I never opened up to anyone except my husband, and you know, I wouldn't want anybody to go through something like this, because it's horrible to feel the way that I felt. It was horrible to go through what I did. And if somebody's going through it, I just feel like you should walk away and don't look back, because maybe things will get worse and not get better, and it's better for you to be safe than to be hurt in any way or shape or form, and then to be in some situation like that. This is what happened to me, and if any of you guys have been in situations similar, you guys comment below and let me know, how did you deal with it? I wore my heart on my sleeve for a long time until I met my husband, and that changed everything for me. I became a better person. I just changed overall, even more because of what I had gone through already. So I am the woman I am today because of that, and I'm grateful that I matured and I'm not that naive girl anymore, and you know, I'm an adult, and I just wish nobody goes through that. I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. That is the most horrible feeling ever. And if you really do have this situation in your life, you should not let it keep going on. Walk away and don't look back, because things might not get easier. Things might get worse, and it's better to be safe than sorry. So yeah, this was one of my worst toxic and mentally abusive relationships for me. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, thumbs the video up, and turn on your post notifications on for a new video like this. I hope to see you next time in another video, and yeah, don't forget to do all those things. Bye, loves.